Last time on Rejections Part 3, Introduction. I met Sierra in 4th grade. We had the same teacher, but we weren't friends at all. We were literally just classmates. As the years went on, we had a couple classes together here and there, but we still never really got close. Fast forward to when school started, we had one class together, but we both had the same chemistry course, just at different times. I still didn't take much notice of her until one day in December. Our chemistry teacher held after-school tutor sessions sometimes, and since there was a test coming up, Sierra stayed that day to get some help. I sat next to her, and throughout the time we spent together that day, my feelings for her changed completely. And that day was the first time I actually experienced a significant amount of time with Sierra. I guess the reason why I never had feelings for her in the past was because I never had a chance to talk to her as a friend. You know, you actually have to spend time with someone in order to pass the stage of infatuation, and after 7 years of knowing this girl, I was starting to fall in love. After we had that study session together, I started to notice Sierra a lot more throughout the day. You know, even though we only had one class together that semester, our paths throughout the day, they crossed quite a few times. I would see her pass by from transition time from 1st to 2nd period. Her 3rd period class was a class I had 2nd period. 5th period was a class we had together, and our 6th period classes were right next to each other. Yeah, I don't know how I remember that still, but I really liked her. I remember telling my friends how much I liked her, and let me tell you, the amount of moral support I received was legendary. They honestly had me thinking that I had a chance. But the only problem was that I was an awkward 16-year-old high schooler who didn't know what to do, even if he did have a chance. But then an opportunity came. At my school, they had this thing during the Valentine's Day season by ASB, the Associate Student Body, where you could buy someone a flower and chocolate, and they would deliver it to them on Valentine's Day during 3rd period. Bro, I can't believe I did that. I remember having the conversation about it with my friends during lunchtime on the last day they were selling. Bro, I can't. I'm too scared. Yes, you can. Bro, but then she's gonna know. So what if she knows? It's better if she does. Dude, it's so weird if I do it. This went on for quite some time until I finally decided it was better to try than not to. I went to the ASB table to buy the stuff, and I remember panicking like a maniac right after I did it. Fast forward to February 14th, Valentine's Day. I saw her in the morning as usual from the transition time from 1st to 2nd period. When 3rd period came along, I knew the flowers and chocolate were getting delivered, and I had my butt cheeks clenched so tight that you could crack a walnut with them. 4th period, I was so nervous because I knew it was only a matter of time before we would inevitably see each other in our next class. 5th period, our class together. I walk into class and head straight into my chair and try to act natural. I talk with my friends and try not to think about Sierra, but I was going insane on the inside. More people come into class as the break period comes closer to its end, and I just wanted to go home. And then I felt a tap on my shoulder. Brandon, I just want to say thank you for the flowers. I remember I just nodded super intensely and had this stupid ass smile on my face because I didn't know what else to do. She went back to her seat, and I remember feeling like I had just won the lottery. I had no idea what I was expecting when I bought the flowers, but Sierra's simple gesture of saying thank you, it meant so much to me. I'm sure it would have been easier for her to just ignore me and let our interactions become awkward from then on, but instead, she decided to approach me and make me feel noticed. You know, this happened 10 years ago, but the appreciation I felt back then, it's definitely still here. I'd be lying if I said I didn't like her even more after that, but deep down, I knew she didn't like me that way, and at the same time, I knew I didn't really have a chance. You know, we were two very completely different people. You know, she came from a suburban background, while I rode the school bus with the fellow ratchet people. You know, she was a 4.0 student, while I was average at best. While she was playing sports, I was at home playing video games. There really was no chance of us being compatible, but I still really liked her and wanted to try. Fast forward a little bit, and there were announcements of our next school dance, and I knew who I wanted to ask. I thought of so many ways of asking Sierra, but I knew getting the chance to do it would be very difficult. I thought of all the possibilities where I could ask Sierra, but they all required me to do it while she was with her friends. All except one. See, the only times I could really get a full-on conversation with Sierra was during our study sessions, but she would usually only go to them before we had a test. And even then, I wasn't even sure that she would go. I had to bank it on a possibility. Every other option just didn't seem that appealing. If I can remember correctly, there was one test between then and the dance, so I only had one chance. Would she go? I really didn't know. As the dance drew closer and closer, I could only guess. Is she gonna go, or is she not? The day of the session, I saw that she didn't come. I just learned about chemistry and was sad that I had none with a certain someone. And with that, I lost the main opportunity I thought I had. Did I try to ask her out any other way? No. I was sure that it would have just made things awkward between us if I did. Looking back, I kind of wish I did, but hindsight is always 20/20. But I did see her at the dance, and she was beautiful. I don't remember too much about that night since it was like 10 years ago, but I do know that I didn't try anything that night, or for the following few months either. I just didn't really know what to do. Sierra definitely knew how I felt, and at the same time, I knew deep down I didn't have a chance. All I could really do was admire her from a distance and tell my friends how I felt about her. That's how it went until the end of the school year, until it was final season. Because I went to a study session to get help in chemistry, and there she was. I don't remember how we got to this conversation, but we started talking about our history final since that was the class we had together, and I was feeling kind of cheeky that day, so I made a proposal. Sierra, if I get at least a 90 on our history final, I get a hug. How about 100%? How about 95%? How about 110%? 100% sounds good. And I left our chemistry study session thinking about history. Now, to fully illustrate how much of a feat getting 100% on the history test was, let me tell you a little bit about high schooler Brandon. That kid was a dumbass motherfucker. All I really did was play video games and sleep in class. I was a terrible student, and getting a C was usually good enough. But not this time. In BTS's song Boy With Love, they say, "Love is nothing stronger than a boy with love." And that boy was me. I studied so much for that final. I said that all I really did was play video games, but I even stopped playing games to study for that test. I was gonna get 100%. The day of the final, I was so nervous. I remember being the last person to finish because I triple checked every single answer. I was so sure I got 100%, and all I had to do was wait for the results. I got a 96. I remember I missed 2 questions. I was so sad, and I told her what I got on the last day of school. Sierra, I know I didn't get 100, but I still tried really hard, and I got a 96. Can I still get that hug? Oh my gosh. Of course. Damn. I'm a fucking simp. And that was the end of my junior year of high school. I never really shot my shot, so this technically isn't a rejection, but I already knew the answer, and I really was happy with the way things went. Even though Sierra knew how I felt, she never actively avoided me and always treated me kindly. But kindness and attraction are 2 separate things, and unfortunately, she wasn't attracted to me. If there was anything I learned from my experience with Sierra, it was probably the most important thing I've learned and still need to be reminded of even nowadays. The importance of being someone you believe is worth dating. I think the thing I knew the entire time I had a crush on Sierra was that I needed to do a lot to have a chance. Now, I'm not saying do a lot as in doing things for Sierra for her to like me, but doing things for myself to become someone worth liking. Sierra had so many attractive qualities about her. She was hardworking, extremely kind, smart, so many things. I really didn't have anything to compare to that. And I know it sounds like I'm just shitting on myself, but being completely honest, that's how it was. I'm glad it didn't affect the way Sierra treated me all those years of knowing me though. She really was an amazing person, and I'll never forget how much our small interactions meant to me. And that is the end of Sierra's story. Or is it? I did still have one more year of high school.